Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus.
Here.
How's it going?
It's been a while.
It has. It's been a little while.
Feels like it's been months.
We are back.
Yeah, it feels like it's definitely been a while. It has been a while, I think.
It's been
a week at least.
Been a full week. Yep. A full week.
It just feels so long when I'm not in the studio. Time
I
just
know,
slows,
2-3 times a
time
week.
just
It's kind of
slows
weird,
down.
isn't it?
Yeah, we're back for a throwback today.
Yes, we are. Throwback theater.
We haven't done a throwback theater in quite some time,
It's been some time, yes.
Which is always sad. I like to throw it back because there's a lot of good movies.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, in the history of man, quite a few.
Well, me and Mary just finished watching Some Like It Hot.
Oh, really? How was that? With old Marilyn Monroe
herself. Yeah, it was great. Honestly,
You know, I've not seen it. I haven't seen
it's
it.
a great fucking film.
Yeah, well,
It
she was
really
famous
is.
for a reason besides fucking
Well, hold
JFK.
She was the least best part about it. She's
Oh,
not
really?
a great actress.
Oh, no. She was just beautiful, man.
She was beautiful, yes.
Very beautiful. Yeah, and
But the two guys in it were hilarious.
yeah.
Like, seriously
I mean,
hilarious.
everyone says that's a very, very good movie. Obviously, it's pretty famous, but yeah. Yeah, we could always do that for a throwback.
We could. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
We're not throwing it that far back today.
No. Try 40 years before that. Or
After the fact, yeah. But 29 years?
Yep.
Which is crazy. 1992 was 29 years ago.
That
Don't
does
like
not
it.
make me feel
I
good.
don't like saying it one bit. The second it came out of my mouth, I was like, "Ew, that's not fun to say."
No.
Yeah, 29 years ago, 1992, a little slasher film came out called Candyman.
Candyman.
Yeah.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Do it. Just make sure you're not in a house of goddamn mirrors.
That's true.
Because you're in a house of goddamn mirrors, you're going to have about 800 Candymen
Yes,
after
you will.
Which is
A problem.
It's a problem, yeah. The bees in that scenario.
Oh, the bees will get you.
The bees will get you. But yeah, it's a slasher film, but I think they call it something else.
They call it a gothic supernatural horror film. That's what they call it.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know if I'd call it that. I would call it an urban legend slasher. That's what I'd call it. Because that's
like the Babadook.
Yes, exactly. And that's what this film is, though. It's just a bunch of urban legends all combined into one. And it pretty much just dissects what an urban legend is.
Yeah.
And if so many people believe it, eventually it does come true.
It does.
If you get so many people believe it, you will you'll get a man with a hook that you just can't defeat.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Helen learned that the hard way.
Yeah. This movie, and because we got to talk about it, we're doing this film because we're going to do the new one as well.
Of course.
The Jordan Peele written sequel / reboot to the original. So we had to do the original. We're not doing the sequels. There is 2 direct-to-DVD sequels.
We said no. We'll pass on
Trust
those.
me, they're horrible.
Yeah, I can
They're
imagine.
exactly what you
It's like
think.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Exactly. It was the 90s. So
they
for
cashing in.
A studio did not need any material to make a sequel.
No.
They just said, hey, make it, fucking write it, and, we'll put it straight to DVD.
Can you imagine just not giving that little a fucks and just being like, yeah, just we don't even need to read the script.
But there's
just
so
make
many movies in the 90s that like end on like after the film ends.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. And then 2 years later, there's a sequel coming out that has almost zero to do with the original. No original actor. Also, although Tony Todd, who is fucking fantastic in this, who plays Candyman, he does come back for all the sequels.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
He is. If you don't know what Tony Todd is, he's like a horror icon. Yep. He's a lot of horror movies and a lot of B horror films as well. He does a lot of films for sure. But he does have. Well, I won't talk about the new one too much, but he does have a little tiny cameo,
does, at the very
smallest cameo, which was kind of disappointing to me because he's well, at this point he didn't have. I thought for sure he'd be more of a cameo. He's so fucking good in this. This is one of my favorite slasher films because it's not like your run-of-the-mill slasher. It's a little bit of a thinker. I'm not going to call it elevated slasher or anything like that, but it's smarter than most slasher films for sure. It's not just teens fucking and then getting murdered
by the person. Yeah,
exactly. It's got a really good story to it, and it also blends in like socioeconomic things as well, with it being set in a one of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago, Cabrini Green.
Yeah,
which is a horrible neighborhood. It's the ghetto. I mean, it's. But that's why the story's so good, is because they start to blame Candyman for all of their woes and whatnot, and that is how he becomes whole.
As powerful as he is.
Absolutely, and he is he's very powerful as far as slashers go. He can't kill the guy.
No, you can't.
He can't.
It's impossible. And they tried. They tried their best, but
not even that. But again, it's supernatural. So he's teleporting where he wants.
It's true. Floating
Super
where he
easy.
wants to float.
Oh,
Doesn't have to walk.
the floating is awesome.
It is.
The floating is very cool. And the bees. Let's talk about the bees. 1992. No CGI bees.
No, those were real.
Those
bees.
are actor. Those are
so
union.
when she popped that little
those
toilet
are union paid bees.
Yeah, they are.
They're part of SAG.
They are part of the animal crew over there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's one thing where I don't mind you CGI and bees anymore. I'm like, don't put them through this kind of crazy shit.
I wonder what they made them do for that one scene in particular towards the end of the film where there's bees all over her face.
They put bees on her.
They did?
And she was allergic to bees.
Oh
yeah. So what they did is kind of some Hollywood magic. Virginia Madsen, that's her name. She's wonderful in this. Helena Lyles, who she plays. But she was definitely, it was almost a deal breaker for her because she is kind of allergic to bees. And again, this is the 90s. Let's remember this. The director was like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So she went to UCLA and had a bunch of tests done and whatnot to prove that she was allergic. And turns out, yeah, more allergic to wasps than bees, but still allergic to bees.
Yeah.
So what they do for movie bees is you always have to breed bees. You can't just go pick them up.
Yeah.
So they breed them, and then if they're within like 12 hours old, they can still sting. It's less likely and less venomous. So all these bees are child actor bees.
Wow. Did they use union rules and only have these bees work 9.5 hours?
The queen bee had to be on set at all times,
yes,
of course.
Supervision.
Of course. So,
and you can't surpass those child labor laws.
No,
either.
but these are all baby bees. Yeah, so they don't sting as much. But when you see bees on people, it's bees on people. Tony Todd got stung 26 times. He had because he's constantly covered in bees. Damn near every scene he's covered in bees.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
But he had negotiated his contract very smart that $1,000 per bee sting.
Really?
So he got paid $26,000.
$26,000. That is well worth it. Sting away bees.
Of course, that is a good agent or manager or whatever to be like, you're gonna be covering fucking bees this whole time.
Yeah, understand the
money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm doing a movie with, I don't know, like sharks or chickens or I'm getting paid per peck, per nibble, I'm getting make sure you're getting paid, because if not, then directors will be throwing buckets of bees on and not caring at all. And if you got sting 1,000,
they got to get the shot. It's all about getting the shot.
So make sure that's the only thing that stops the director thinking, especially the producer, is money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So protect yourself first, for sure. But yeah, all the bees, if you don't know the story of Candyman, what was his name? Jebediah something? I can't remember his, what was his name? It was it was Daniel Robitaille, which is a very 1800s name. But he was a painter. His parents were slaves, and then his dad invented something. He was a painter. He fell in love with a white woman. White daddy was not a fan. Paid the local youth mob to
run it. Yeah, and then torture them and telling those kids to be creative.
Oh yeah, he said, hey, if whatever you've been dreaming up, this is the time. Be you on this one. Rusty sawed off his painting hand. God damn it, stuck a meat hook in there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, not doctors, these guys.
No, that's pretty painful.
No, he shows that hook, and every time, oh god, it's
no tourniquet.
It's not a clean cut.
No, it's not. No one took the time to clean the wound. Before inserting that,
jamming that hook in there could not have been good for the wound, I don't think. But they did all that though, just to that didn't even kill him.
Cover him in bees and then light him on
Covered
fire.
him honey.
And then
So
let him on fire.
in bees. It's a crazy way to die.
That's an awful way to die.
As far as slasher deaths, that's a good one for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's a good good motivation. That's a good startup story.
Yeah.
For sure. That guy's
getting revenge.
That guy's got every reason to be very upset.
Yeah.
They did that.
I would say so.
And this movie could also be just called White People That Don't Mind Their Own Goddamn Business. Because it's only white people conjuring up this guy.
Yeah, it is true. It is true, especially in this one. Yeah.
You do not see black people messing with anything that's got to do with the supernatural. And for good reason, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because it's a shit ton of fucking white people that are
They
just...
just want to take their chance, man. They just take their chance. They roll
have
the
it
dice.
too good.
Yeah, they
They've had
just
it
roll the
too
dice.
good for
man.
too long, for sure.
He's Candyman. We're not scared of Candyman.
Everyone's saying it. Yeah, and it's cool though because it's every urban legend. It combines Bloody Mary, combines with the hook for the hand murder story or whatever that everyone's been told. It combines a bunch and the razor blades and the candy.
Yep.
It's also a thing that it combines, which are all fake folklore. And there's never ever been an instant of a razor
Never found
blade.
a razor blade in my candy.
Well, if it's ever happened to you, it's never happened. Yep. But no, that's very true. There's never been an instant ever finding a razor blade in a candy because it's so fucking stupid. Why? What joy is anyone getting out of? For one, it's
Putting
like
razor blades in candy.
you're not even seeing the victim. Like you're not. It's like well, you just gotta hope. Like I hope this fucks someone up.
Works.
No, and it's like send it off. It's such a dumb thing to do.
is.
It's not killing anyone either. But
No.
Yeah, there's never been an instance of any razor blade. But that is a thing that my parents for sure absolutely believed.
Legitimately, I used to see it on the news.
Yes,
KPTV.
check your candy.
Yes,
Check your candy
in
for
the
it.
early 2000s when I was trick or treating. I would watch the news with my
and
dad.
that goes
and they'd
way
say that.
back.
Yeah,
That
and I was
goes
like,
way back. Yeah.
I've never found razor blades. My fucking
It's
candy.
a weird thing to even think of, but it's 100% something that people took seriously.
Yeah.
But that's what this whole movie is about, is the power of urban legends and how they do become real.
Yeah.
Because my parents took the time to search through my candy from a fucking from something that was never true, ever. So it's wild.
That is wild.
But it didn't get to the point where so many people believe something that they were conjuring up Candyman, because although he is a fable, the deaths very real in this film.
Yeah.
A hook is a brutal way to go.
It's not fun.
I thought it'd be more clean.
You get teared from the groin all the way to the guzzard.
Well, what about the doctor who was whatever after she got caught or whatever, and they take her to the psych fucking ward, and the psychiatrist.
Unfortunately for that
and
guy,
she turns to the mirror and as soon as I start hearing Candyman twice,
I'm
out the door.
room. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna.
And that had been an African American psychologist, he would have been, oh, you bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you. But no, yeah, but I like this scene and this movie. Also, although you can see the new one because it is a reboot, you can see without seeing. It adds a lot more.
Way more to the new one.
I went with a group to the new one of people that had not seen the old one or haven't seen it in a very long time. There's a lot of stuff that you pick up in the new one, like her conjuring up Candyman.
Yes.
She does it in the old one and she does it in the new one as well. But those are scenes that connect and come back. And that by the second one, Helen Lyle has in herself become an urban legend. Mm-hmm. The whole thing of her stealing the kid and whatnot and then throwing it in the fire.
Didn't happen.
It was all untrue.
Yeah.
She saved that goddamn kid who comes into play later on.
It does.
But I did love the writing in that, but it definitely, I would recommend definitely seeing the first one.
You have to see the first one before the second.
Because it does connect and it does make a lot of sense once you see it, even though there is very, very little of Tony Todd's Candyman in the new one. It is a completely new, almost fabricated, another Candyman who was more recent, but I love that, but I thought she did a great job. And the deaths are brutal in this. It's 92, so it's all practical effects too. Yeah. Like I said, that guy getting hooked in the back when she conjures him up. Because at one point, it's super cool. She starts using him like a weapon.
She does.
And then everyone's like, I don't even know we want to go after her at this point.
No.
Like, she is becoming insanely dangerous.
Well, and then everyone who runs into her is like, oh my God. It's Helen. She's going to kill us.
That scene is so good of when she runs
When
into
she
the
goes
apartment.
home. Yeah. And of course, the freshman broad is with the professor.
What has she been in the hospital for 2 days? And they're repainting the...
Oh, hey, honey bun.
Everything's got to go.
Did you have a boo-boo?
Talk about these guys getting over it. Oh, my God.
Very fast. Yeah. No, he was like, well, on to brighter and younger things.
I know. He was looking for a supernatural slasher to come and take care of his wife.
He was very happy when it happened.
Because he moved quick.
Very fast. Yeah.
It's crazy. I get maybe bringing in enough, but to be repainting the house, be like, I gotta forget about this bitch. Like, it's been 2 days already. We gotta move on. It was very fast.
Yes, it was.
But man, was that guy an asshole.
He was.
You were just waiting for him to get fucking hooked.
Well, he got it.
At the very end, you're almost thinking it's not gonna happen. Candyman's gone. He's disappeared now.
Helen
knew Candyman.
Which they never elaborated on anymore in this new one.
I know. It's something.
I kind of wish they would have.
They never brought her back. She was so great in this. She's so different from every other final girl where they're usually just so weak and they're falling over and they're screaming the whole time.
She was tough and brave.
Absolutely. When those, especially when those gang members
surrounding her
in the bathroom, and absolutely. And just going into Cabrini Green and going up to the apartment. And climbing into the window, scariest fucking window,
or not a window, but like where the medicine cabinet was.
It was. I mean, it was a window to the next room, and then she comes out, and all the set designs are so fantastic, and the score in this, it's like an operatic, it's like way over the top, but it works very well.
It actually does work. And before drone shots were drone shots, there were a lot of cool, quote unquote, drone shots,
helicopter shots. Giant crane shots for sure. But
they looked really good, and combined with the score too of that operatic, like
exactly, a very dramatic and I heard the guy scored this before he had seen the film, and he just read, because it's based on Clive Barker, a short story, when Clive Barker was just on fire in the 90s with, Hellraiser and everything else.
Forbidden.
Yeah. And so he read that, and he thought it was going to be like a real elevated, like art house film. Mm-hmm. So he did this amazing score thinking it was going to be like this real artsy, and then he saw the film, and he's like, it's kind of just like a slasher, which was what a lot of people said when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was just kind of another slasher, but then it's kind of become this cult film in itself, like Candyman itself.
Yeah.
It's a cult figure.
It's true.
Absolutely. There's people that follow him, but yeah, man, that score it's almost like it's like Star Wars-esque. It's
very intense.
Yeah. But it works. It works very well with the subject material of this being like him being like an almost godlike being of unbelievable power. But I love the score, all the practical effects. It's very brutal. A poor puppy gets killed in this film.
Holy shit! So the beheading of the dog was pretty intense. There was blood everywhere. She's doing blood snow angels. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And they I'll get on your back, but in the new film they tell that story of her, which really it was in this film she's like kidnapped. Remember he meets her in the parking garage.
Yeah,
and he says his line, "Be my victim." I love that. Say my name, be my victim, because he knows if you die by his hand, you live forever.
Yeah,
you become part of the legend.
Yep.
But it's. Any other way, if he had been Gunman, like he goes around and shoots everyone in the head and be like, okay, I mean that's not
right.
bad.
Well, that's normal.
But
that's
him being the
hook guy
and the bee guy,
the bee and the candies, yes,
it's a tough combo to go out on.
Yeah.
And I love at the end when they're getting to because every year Cabrini Green has this giant bonfire. And he says something along the lines of like, "Why are you scared?" And she's like, "Are you scared of the death or what comes after?" And he says, "The death will be exquisite."
Yeah, I know. The death will be exquisite. That was some like Hellraiser shit.
And he goes, "And the after you will live forever." Yeah, it's fucking brutal. They are exquisite deaths.
They are.
I mean, give it off. I don't know who the special effects guys are. They are exquisite deaths, but for the victims,
not so much fun.
feel like the only one enjoying this is Tony Todd, the Candyman. Her friend ggets brutally murdered.
Oh, she got the crazy hook all the way up and down. Yeah. God, that was rough.
And the crazy part of that is, remember, Helen wakes up because she doesn't remember any of that, and they think it's her, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But all of the people, her husband and everything, are just sitting around this body.
I know. He was just right in the living room, like sitting there just staring at the dead body. I'm
like Jesus. Everyone was just standing around like, oh, we just got to wait for her to wake up. Yep. Like, take her to the hospital. Yeah, no shit. Get this shit cleaned up. But that makes sense. I mean, I get why they wanted to paint the walls at that point.
Yeah.
It was a brutal but man, she becomes an escape artist throughout this entire film. But she's a little help.
Well, from her imaginary friend.
And for the police to be thinking she's doing all of this, be like, where's she getting the hook at?
Especially, and where does the hook go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, she's keeping it on her. It's a giant hook, though. It's not it's not a Captain Hook.
But they've never arrested her with the murder weapon.
No.
So you can't really prosecute.
And not only that, but the way she's killing these people would take a massive. You would have to be very 6'5" Tony Todd.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, a very strong individual,
or a supernatural, especially to
rip intestines out
and to decapitate a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to do.
It's a tough go.
But we'll learn that these cops in Cabrini Green, shitty cops, they're not looking to do any detective work. I mean,
they got more important things. Like not doing detective work.
Not doing any detective work because they're me like, oh, it's her. She's the one.
And very progressive film, too, because Helen goes into the elevator with her friend and she goes, wow, one white woman gets attacked in the hood. And
well, remember they lock the whole neighborhood down. They
lock it all down, yeah.
And that, I love those kind of lines, too, because those are the kind of lines that kind of remind you of like, oh, this, and they talk about it even more. Is what happens is, they force all these people into the ghettos, and then they decide, oh, fuck, we're running out of land. We got to get these guys out of here now. So they choke off the community. No police going in or no maintenance being done on the roads. Schools are turned to shit.
Then you got to condemn the buildings, and then adios. Then you sell it. And
crime goes through the roof, so you can be like, hey, we got to get in there.
Right.
We got to, because if these people are tearing us, so then they end up looking like the good guys. Yep. Exactly. And that's a thing that's heavily played in this movie, is especially when she meets the woman with the baby. It's like, we're not all like these people, Right. Most of us are just trying to survive. And they did shoot in Cabrini Green. And
really?
They had to get, whenever you shoot in a place, you got to get the okay from all the gangs in the place. And almost always they did the same thing in Warrior. We talked about it. Gangsters always want to be in movies.
Of course they do. They want some recognition.
So a lot of these gangsters that you see are real gangsters.
They are.
Yes. So that's always like, yeah, you come shoot and we'll protect you, but I gotta be a featured extra. Like the big film buffs.
Come on. Want to see ourselves on screen.
They're big film buffs all of a sudden. But yeah, that was the kind of thing, is every time they shot in Cabrini Green, you had to you gotta get the okay. Of course, but
gotta get the old nod.
Absolutely. So a lot of these people are real, yeah. But everything looks real. The set design I talked about a little bit, but is incredible. When she climbs through that window, and then on the other side, it's Candyman's mouth opening up into the apartment where he murdered a lot of people. Murder kids as well.
A lot of kids.
Yes. Does not
shy away from that.
No, he doesn't have much morals at this point. At this point, he's more of a husk.
One thing, too, Helen got fucked up. She got hit in the eye so damn hard with the hook. And then, 2 days later, her eye's perfectly fine. I'm like, what the fuck?
I know. They even make a point of saying me that, because remember her husband, and he goes, what's going on? He goes, look, it's fine now. Yeah, but she does get beamed in that hook, and that is a nasty swell on that eye.
God, it was. Yeah.
Great makeup work, though.
Great makeup work, yeah.
But then this part is, I never knew they did lineups with the victim in the room. That was odd to me. I always thought you were behind
glass.
Yeah. She's literally just standing 3 feet in front of a line of
guys,
of people who the guys who were end up kind of protecting her in the way, being like, "Hey,
get the hell out of here.
You don't want to go down this road.
You don't want to know Candyman.
You know, yeah." You really don't, because he is a son of a bitch.
Did you know Eddie Murphy was the original actor that was supposed to play Candyman?
Thank God.
That did not happen.
Yeah, that did not happen, obviously. Tony Todd has such an extremely deep voice.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy, very high.
Yes.
High-pitched voice. The man's a singer.
Yes.
So I don't know. And also Eddie Murphy, what, 5'9"?
If that. He might be a Tom Cruise height.
I cannot imagine
Not
this
a tall
being
guy.
very menacing as little Eddie Murphy out there. And not that, and a little more funny for sure, yeah. Tony Todd plays this very straight.
Very straight. Very serious.
There's not enough. And I love this film too because it doesn't feel like a slow burn, but you don't get introduced. You don't see Tony Todd until 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
You don't get the first, but they play him up, man. They build him up very, very slow with the first. I like the scene of them eating dinner with some high up professor or something. He's a total dick. And they talk about how they're going to bury him or whatever but he did research about Candyman 10 years ago, and he tells them, they didn't even know the story, but he tells them the entire story of old Robitaille.
Yep. What happened to him? Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Pretty shitty.
And all these deaths are bad, but none of them count up to his original death.
No.
They're all pretty brutal, but
I think he'll take the cake on that one.
Getting the hook in the hand, then the bees. Then we said, hey, this guy's like Rasputin. We got to make sure he ain't coming back.
And then they let him on fire.
And who would have believed he was killing their grandchildren 100 years later? Big mistake, guys.
Karma's a bitch.
It's a little lesson for everyone out there thinking, get a mob together, go kill a man.
Get away with it.
You're not going to get
It's
away.
not going to happen. You're not going to get away with it. It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a big problem. Maybe not for you, but your grandkids are going to be dealing with those Candyman, the Candyman wake for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, did you ever see Candyman before
This is my first time seeing it.
What did you think?
I loved the original.
The original's great.
Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I liked it a lot too. I love the score. I love the practical effects. It does a really good job. And it holds up today, too. There's not a lot of slasher films that you can go back to, and they hold up because they're fun and they're campy. Right. But this one really, really still holds up.
Well, I love the story, too. I thought the story and the way they did it was great with Helen.
Yeah.
Kind of being, doing this big thesis paper on Candyman. Like, really doing the research. As you said, too, it was original idea to have a strong female lead like Helen.
Yeah.
And like not some dumb girl that can't do anything. Like she was very smart. She was brave. She went out and did things. I just liked the story in general. I thought it was a really well-made film, especially for an $8 million budget back in the day.
Wild. Yeah. Wild. I think it did pretty good at the box office.
Yeah, 26 mil.
Yeah. Which is not bad. I'm sure this is a film that probably killed on
DVD,
home video rentals, not DVD yet.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, 92,
VHS.
man. 92, yeah. But a lot of for sure, like home video stuff, because this is kind of this urban legend stuff. Everyone loves urban legends, right? And everyone's got one. Every town's got one. Everyone knows them. Like like we said, like the Candy urban legend and everything. But yeah, I love it. If you have not seen the original Candyman, I would definitely recommend it.
As would I.
For sure.
And definitely go see this before you go see the new Candyman in theaters right now.
Yeah, and it's the spooky season coming up. This is a great Halloween film.
I know. I wish they would have done this later.
Yeah.
End of September, early October.
They just can't. There's too much shit coming out. There's too much stuff coming out. But all right.
Alrighty, well, that is our review for the 1992 original Candyman. If you guys like what you're seeing here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.